Yeah, hello. So, you can see the title, right? Chrome DevTools. If you're web developers, then you know what is that. Okay, a short disclaimer is if you're a web developer, I don't force you to use Chrome DevTools like the Firefox. The Firefox DevTools is very good also. Like if you use Microsoft Edge, it's exactly the same thing like the Chrome DevTools. So anyway, okay, let's start the talk. So I'm Henry, as Julius mentioned just now. So this is me talking at Singapore, the La Coffee meetup. Um, this one not important because you don't care about me, you care about DevTools. So yes, it's kind of funny actually. Like the Chrome Dev Summit extended, like happened like 6 months after the actual event, and the Chrome Dev Summit 2020 is coming soon, hopefully, but maybe not. Just like Google I/O, no one will know what will happen. Okay, anyway, let's talk about DevTools. So if you're web developers, you should use it. If you don't use DevTools and you call yourself a web developers, then I don't really know how you develop web app. Okay, but the thing is, DevTools, I think most of you have seen DevTools at least one time. Right? Is this thing what you see right now? So it's actually a very, very powerful web application. And it's like 300,000 of JavaScript, 80,000 of CSS. It's a very, very huge web application. And in fact, the whole thing is actually open source. So you can go to this URL. Okay, oh, by the way, all the slide, the link I mentioned in the top, I will put at the end of my talk. So don't need to screenshot or anything. The Chrome DevTools is actually, as I mentioned, is a very, very big web application which you can pull the whole thing, like you can run everything locally on the computer. And the code is like quite complex as you can see here. So this one is just like the Chrome DevTools, the element panels. The code like is this long. It's like it's super complex. It took you like maybe 1 week to like just understand the code. So it's a very, very huge code, but you can run yourself, go to this step, just follow the step, download a few things, git clone a few things, then build it. The best thing is they changed the build flow. So last time you need to build the Chromium itself, which if you're using MacBook Air or the cheaper laptop, is impossible. But right now they built Chromium, so when you clone the project, you just need to build the DevTool itself. Like the whole thing is at less than 2 GB. So it's quite small, but it's not that super small, but it's actually quite big. But it's super powerful. And actually what I can show you is I can I'm in the DevTools repo, so I can just run this thing. So I can show you first. So the command is like this, like the Chromium, the web browser with the custom front-end tool which link to the repo. So if I run it from here, then okay, from here you can see like this is the element panel, the code for that. So if you construct, then you should call this console log elements panel. So let's go back here. So if you open inspect, then you need to wait for a while because my laptop is very slow right now. Okay, so if you open the DevTools, it's opening. Okay, it's come up. So this is the DevTool you normally see, right? But the fun thing is how they actually develop from DevTools. Well, they need to use another DevTools. So you have this DevTools to debug the website, but to debug this DevTools, you need to use another DevTools. So it's like use DevTools to inspect DevTools, and if you want to inspect another DevTool, then you need to open another DevTools. So it's kind of like the inception thing. So if you look here, like if we open the element panels, what we should see the console log element panels. So let's see it's working or not. It's live demo, no guarantee if it works. So this one is the DevTool that we want to debug. So let's say if we open it on the elements, then console should show something. So if you click this thing, yes, it's working. So this proves like we are actually on the debug mode. So the fun thing is that you can actually debug the whole thing. Like it's something like you never see before. It's kind of stupid, kind of pointless. But if you want to you add extra feature to Chrome Dev to fix a bug and display this bug you will see. You can try that, but it's very, very complex. But if right now you have like got nothing to do, it's the best time for you to explore the tools you use every day. And it's something you can understand because it's just the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So it sounds not complex, but it's very complex. But have some fun doing that. It's quite stupid, but yeah, why not? Okay, let's go back to the talk. Let me close this thing. So then now you know like what is Chrome DevTools. DevTools is actually a very, very huge application, and you have DevTools and your browser. So what's in between? How the DevTools talk to the browser, and you use something called CDP, the Chrome DevTools protocol. So they use the protocol to talk to each other. If you use Puppeteer before, it's exactly the same thing. So that the Puppeteer use the Chrome DevTools protocol to talk to the browser in headless mode. So you can, like, let's say in Puppeteer, you can take a screenshot, but actually it's the Puppeteer, you call it the protocol to take a screenshot. So the Puppeteer is just like a wrapper, like a library for the DevTools protocol. It's kind of interesting to see like how powerful Puppeteer is. And it's so powerful is because DevTools is super powerful. You can explore your own. Puppeteer is super fun. You can use it to do a lot of stuff. Take screenshot, do server-side render. You can use it to do testing, whatever. But actually, anything you can do on DevTools, you can do on Puppeteer. Like most of the stuff. But today our focus is on the DevTools on your side, on the front end part. So, but before that, if you are using like, if you build with framework, then there are a lot of like the Chrome DevTools extension that you can use. Like we have React, Angular, Preact, Vue.js, which is like the most popular is React, like 2 million active user. So it's a very, very powerful tool for the DevTools, which I recommend you to install it. So let's talk about the Chrome DevTools itself. So right now, just to let you know, I'm using on Chrome Canary, which is a Chrome 82. Is it? Oh no, Chrome 84. The latest version of Canary is Chrome 84 because we are developers, so we should be living on those dangerous places. So yeah, use Canary. If it crashes, then it crashes. Okay, so the first thing is to do, if you are using Canary, then you don't need to do this. It's enabled by default. If you're using Chrome Stable, then if you want to get all the latest and greatest feature from DevTools, then you enable this flex. It's super awesome. You get a lot of stuff. Okay, that's the first thing. And the second thing is, a small thing is that if you build your app with like, you want to test it on the Facebook browser, as you know, it sucks, it's horrible. But if you want to debug it, you can actually use Chrome to do it. So what you can do is you go to the Chrome inspect, and you actually can inspect the browser running on the Android devices, and also to inspect the Facebook internet browser. But unfortunately, it doesn't work on iOS because, you know, iOS sucks. Sorry. But anyway, okay, one more thing. If you use VS Code or use Sublime, then you should know about something called command menu, the Command Shift P. It's like, if on VS Code, you know the Command Shift P, it shows you this thing and you type all the commands. You don't need to find where is it. For the Chrome DevTools, it has exactly the same thing. So again, Command Shift P, if you're using Windows 10, is Control Shift P. Then if you do it, then this thing will appear. Then you can type whatever command you want. Like if you want to show the network panel, then you just type network and press enter, it will show it. So like a easier way because you don't need to find like where is the panel. Anyway, by the way, if you have any question, you can drop your comment or question on your right hand side, which is here or here. Yeah, so either side or on the below. So I can see your message on, I have another screen, so I can see you live. So yeah. Okay, let's begin. So let's start with something new. It's called CSS Overview. It's one of the newest features that's coming to Chrome DevTools. I think it's still in Canary. It's not in stable yet. But it's something very, very powerful that you can use. So let's say if I go to like the Google blog. So it's basically it gives you an overview of the CSS. It's I'm talking bullshit. CSS overview, that's a definition. So what can you do with the CSS overview is, basically it gives you a very, very detailed overview of your CSS. So what you need to do is, you go to the CSS overview, make sure you're on Canary. Then you click on the capture overview. It will scan through all the CSS file, and you generate a small report, like similar to Lighthouse, but this one is just for the CSS, and it gives you all the information. Give all the information about the CSS that you use in this website. So you can see like this website is used like background color. There's a few color for the text color that I've used like 12. Few color which I think you use it on the SVG. That you can see all the information in very, very easy way. You don't need to guess like in one of my favorite thing is that the media query. So sometimes I have a bad practice that sometimes the media query on some page I use like 1000 px, some page I use 860. So it's not standardized, but from here you can go through like, everything is very, very clear. Like make sure you don't have any weird media query that you use. And you can use it like you have the unused declaration, like you declare in your CSS but you didn't use it. So the CSS overview is a newer set. I can say it's like one of the powerful features that is coming to the Chrome DevTools. And that's why I love Chrome DevTools so much. Okay, next thing is tooltip. I think most of you use this before, but if you're using Canary, then there's a new design. So if you hover on any element, so you can see that the tooltip come out, but on the latest Canary, they provide you more information like the accessibility stuff. So not only they show you the color contrast, but they also show you the area name, the area role, like is it keyboard focusable? So for those people using browser web, not using touchscreen or touchpad, they use the keyboard. Then you can see directly from the tooltip. So it's getting more and more powerful. So one of the examples is it actually supports like live updating. How should I do? Here. Is it working? No, it's not working. I don't know why. But anyway, so you can see more information directly from the tooltip. Useful for like if you want to make sure your design everything is correct. Here we go. And the next thing is the change color format. So what is this? So let's say I have an example of the color. Maybe I can zoom in a bit. Okay. So we have a color. Right now I'm using hex. So you can click on this thing, a color picker will pop out. So you can use it to change between RGBA, the HSLA, and hex code. So you can see here, but the problem is sometimes like your designer gives you hex, but on your website you actually use RGBA. So what can you do is you don't need to click on this thing and change like this. You can just hover on this thing and you press shift and click it. You can just swap it between like this. Hold your shift button and just click it. So that make your coding speed faster. And also coming on Canary is a new changes they call the modern CSS color syntax. It's good and bad. Some people like it, some people hate it. For the feedback, what I can see right now is not very good. So if you use the hex code, the RGB, if you use the RGB, you know that RGB like 255, 255, 255. But the modern color syntax doesn't have the comma because no point to have comma. This is what they think. So they want to save a few bytes by remove the comma. So what I can see, like if you change from here, it will generate RGB without comma. Some people love it, some people hate it. I don't know. So it's totally up to you. If you don't like it, you can give feedback, which I will tell you how can you provide feedback to the Chrome DevTools teams later. So this is the modern CSS color syntax. On the Canary, if they change, just let you know. Now you know. If you change like this, the comma will be missing. Okay, so if you use that legacy system, maybe it will break the stuff. I don't know. Okay, then the next thing is the computer panel, which is useful for if you like your website has the custom font. So I use it for basically most of this thing, like the render fonts. So what I can see is that this text is using a font called Google Sans. But what I can see here, interesting stuff is the local font, which means the fonts is come from my computer locally. It's not come from the network. So you can use this method to know like it's come from the network or come from a computer. And also it show you all the information, the styling that actually applied to your to the DOM. So you can see like the font size is 32. If like let's say you declare 2 font size, but you don't know which one is actually applied to the website, you can see from the computer panel, which is like right beside the stars. And also for those new in web, you still don't know what is padding, what is border, what is margin, and here is, I guess it's super useful. I can see directly from here. Okay, and the next thing is something called CSS autocomplete. For lazy people like me, and I don't remember stuff. Like I forgot how to use CSS grid, which sucks. Then I can just type like repeat, and then it doesn't work. Then maybe the CSS flags. So we have the flags and justify center, but what's the attribute before that? I don't know. So like what I can do, I just type like flags and you just type flags and if you auto-complete the first part, the align content, align items, align stuff, they'll complete for you. So you just remember the last part. So yeah, lazy people use lazy tools. We call it improve productivity. Okay. And this one, nothing important, so I just skip it. Okay, taking a screenshot. So if you're working on front-end stuff, you need to communicate with your designer, which I don't recommend because this is how the fight starts, right? This is how you get into a war with your designer. No, just kidding. So if you want to share your design, your web design, the actual design to your designer, you can take a screenshot, right? For those using Mac, you can use the Command-Shift-4, Command-Shift-5. It's very, very powerful. But DevTools actually has exactly the same thing. So you can use Command-Shift-P and type screenshot. Screenshot. So you can see there are a few options of method of what you can take a screenshot. Like you can capture area screenshot, which is you click, then you highlight an area. Capture node is like this node, just this text, this H1 only. Capture screenshot is what you see. But the interesting part is you can capture full size screenshot. So let me show you. So I just click on the link. Okay, so like let's say I want to capture the full page screenshot. Right? Usually what you need to do is you need to go to the Chrome Web Store and download some extension to do that. But DevTools actually has this feature built in. So what you need to do is just Command-Shift-P and enter the capture full size screenshot. Wait for a few seconds. And it will generate the PNG file, which my computer slow. Okay, here. So you can actually take a screenshot like this directly from the Chrome DevTools. It's useful for me, yes. For you, I don't know, but for me, it's very useful. It means I don't need to download any third-party extension that I don't trust. Although I built Chrome extension too, but yeah, I don't trust them. So yeah, this is like a powerful feature. One of the powerful features is like directly built into the Chrome DevTools. The next thing is Whizbug. So for those who don't know what is Whizbug, it's like a DevTools built for designer. Because DevTools is extremely powerful, like they have a lot of complex stuff, like something that designers don't understand at all. But with the Whizbug, it's a Chrome extension. You can search on the Chrome web store. It's basically the same thing, but they just remove all the stuff that are necessary for the designer. So they just keep all the important stuff for the designer. Like they provide the tool like for accessibility, the tool for like you can move the stuff, move to where I don't know. You can like move here, I don't know, but you can do a lot of stuff. Like you can change the margin. Everything is just let's get a tool, dev tool for designer. If you're a designer, you should try it with that. If you are developers, then you just use Chrome DevTools. Okay, next thing, let's talk about JavaScript because JavaScript is super fun. So let me close this thing. Let's talk about console log. So console is something I guess you use a lot, right? If you doesn't know, like if your code is not working, you just console everything. And this is what I do. So you all know like the console is super simple, super basic. But the best thing is, one thing you may not know is the console table, which you can just print a table like this. So let's say you have the array object, but if you show like this, not cool enough. So you can use a console table and we preview the whole thing in a table form. But the best thing is, for those Muslims, sorry, because I know it's Ramadan. But anyway, you can use this, it's a table, so you can sort this thing. You can sort like a normal table. You just use console table, that's all. No library is built-in feature. And one more thing is, so this is console table. One more thing is, I just realized a few days ago. So there's something called log point. Okay, let me go through here. So if you look at my JavaScript is, okay, what you need to do is you go to the sources panel here and you find your code. The best thing is, let's say if I run this function called log point, then it generates this thing because what I did is like the two new date and we do the subscription. Then we don't know like what is the value of current. How can we do that? So usually what you need to do is you just go back to the code and modify the code and change that console log current and you get the result. But you don't need to do that. So what I need to do is like right here we have the current, right? So what I can do is I can right click on the line, then I can add log point. So you can, it's exactly like console log. So right now I don't know what is the value of current, right? Instead of using console log current, what I can do is I just type like current, just current. So we know the value of current. If we press enter, okay. So whenever it runs this thing, it will generate a log. So if you run again, remember this thing. Oh, I just remove it. So if you actually just console log directly in this thing without modifying your code, you can basically console log without changing your code. Super fun. It's super useful. So you don't need to modify your code, or if you are testing in production and you want to see the result, you can do this. So what you need to do is right click on the line of code and select add log point. Okay. Next thing is pretty print. So if let's say you have a code, like, let me show you. So we have some JavaScript here. Oops, I accidentally opened a super big JavaScript file. But then, like let's say if you open a JavaScript file or any file or CSS file, sometimes it's minified, right? So it's not very human friendly to print. What you can do is you just click on this button called Pretty Print, and basically it will just format the code for you. Just one click and you format nicely everything. So it's like this. So you format everything. So yeah, it's more human readable. Okay, the next thing is something called the har import export. I don't know if it's pronounced as har or har, but it's something like this. So you have a network request, then you want to like back up this thing, or you want to share the waterfall, the network record to your colleague or as a backup. What you can do is you can press on this button, export har. So you export this thing. It generates a .har file. Then I think it's downloaded. Okay, so what I can do is I clear everything already, right? I can restore the previous network record, like completely everything, including the cookies, the response, everything. So I can just file back the locals.har. If I open back, it will import everything back here. So you can share this information to other people, but make sure you don't leak the cookie stuff because everything is in here. So it may be a little bit dangerous, but if you are testing on development stuff, you have to share it to your colleague. This is really super useful. I actually use it a lot with my colleague because like right now we work from home. So it's one of the easy way to share the whole full record, the full network record to your colleague. Okay, where's my person? The next thing is something called network condition. So network condition, let me open this thing. So as again, I use the command menu, Command Shift P to find the network condition. So you can use this to basically show you can control the network from the DevTools. Like you can enable or disable the cache, which you can do it from here also. And you can throttle your network, like you can slow down to like fast 3G, slow 3G, or offline mode, or you can set your own. And also you can change the user agent. For some website like Facebook.com, they actually still use user agent to check like which browser you're using. But it's not recommend, please use like the web platform API detection to detect what kind of API is supported on the browser. The user agent is, but it's fun to test it. Like you can use this method to download Facebook video. Like you can use this and change it to any browser you like. Like so you can simulate like the user is on Chrome or Safari. It only simulates the user agent. It doesn't simulate the engine itself. Just remember. So you can use it to trick the website think this is the user is using Internet Explorer 7. And by doing this, Facebook let you to download the Facebook video by doing that. Because why not? Okay. And the next thing is server timing is still the network stuff. So if you are back-end developers, this will be useful because sometimes like, your server is slow, but because like the back-end and front developer sometimes is different people, right? So the front-end people need to know like, okay, let me show you something. Okay, so I'm on no, wrong website. Okay, if I on this thing, if I go to the BTC website, if I go to the BBC website, so this page is, I think it's like partly server-side render. Some information come from the server. So if you click on the network request, click on the timing, you can see a very detailed timing. Like you can see the DNS lookup for like 46 milliseconds. So my network is fast, but not super fast. And you can see like the TTFD is time to first byte, which when you call the server, like once you call the server, it starts calculate until the server return you the first byte. So in this case, it's 410 milliseconds, and it uses 1 second to download. But the problem is the TTFD, the waiting time is actually the time that process in the server. But for front-end engineer, they will never know what is happening behind the scene. So what you can do is, for on the back end, you can actually set the header, send to the front end. In this case, you can send something like the server timing. So in this case, you can set like the data, hit and markup. Those are the time that's spent on the back end. You can send the information to the front end using the server timing header. And the DevTools will actually show it properly, nicely like this. So you can see like the backend actually use 110 milliseconds. So if you minus this, so it's like the rest of 300 milliseconds means is in the fiber cable. So it's the latency between the computer and the server. I think it's connected to the UK server, so it's quite slow. But you know, in the server, it actually uses like 110 milliseconds. The rest of the time are on the network. So it's a way for you to debug the back end stuff using the front end tool. Okay, last thing is not the last thing for this part is kind of stupid, but you know, some user disable their JavaScript. I know it's stupid, but it's like 2020, why you disable your JavaScript? But of course, you want to do that, like provide a best experience for the user. If the user somehow disable the JavaScript, how you can detect it? How you can detect using the no script code. If you detect it, you can just show. Okay, let me show you one best example. So YouTube.com, it's a very, very powerful client-side web application. So I think my laptop is very slow. That's why it's very slow. Hello, computer. Maybe I should change my laptop. Like so slow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, but I can see this rendering something, right? This means the JavaScript is doing something. But what will happen to YouTube.com if you disable the JavaScript? So you can disable JavaScript. So you know what recently I'm watching cat video, not Korean video, yeah. So what you can do stupidly is you can disable the JavaScript from the DevTools. So you click it, you disable it. You can see there's a small pop-up here that tell you like the JavaScript is blocked. If you refresh the page, then oops, YouTube.com break completely. It just show you placeholder. So it's actually kind of bad practice. Like you should not do this. You should scold your user. Like what the heck, you disable your JavaScript? Please re-enable your JavaScript. So you can do that by showing like a pop-up using the no script. So force them to enable JavaScript. It's 2020, no point to do. No, there's no point to disable JavaScript. Okay, last thing is this thing, emulated device, I think nothing important, so skip. Okay, let's talk about the sensor. So there's a new update to the sensor panel. Sensor. Okay. So you can simulate a field sensor from the dev tool directly. So you can change your device location. So for those, it's a YouTube live, but whatever. If you use Tinder, PWA, you know, if you want to change the country, if you want to change the region, you need to pay for the Tinder Go or Tinder Plus, which is expensive. But what you can do is you can use DevTools to change the location to like Mountain View, Tokyo, or you can enter your coordinate yourself. And the best thing is you not only can change the time zone, you also can change the time zone ID, which provide a complete time. You not only can change the device location, you also can change the time zone ID. You also can change the local, which basically the device language. So in this case, is ZHTW means it's traditional Chinese. You can change it to any language and see what will happen if you change the language. Like if your website have like multiple language support, you can use it to simulate it. Before that, there's no way to change the device language other than you change the whole operating system. And there's orientation, which is if you're working on the VR stuff, so you can use this to like if you develop on a MacBook, right? There's no the accelerometer, gyroscope. So if you flip your computer, nothing will happen. You need to test on the actual device. But sometimes you're just lazy. So you can use a sensor, change orientation, and do this. And if you're on a VR app or any app that use the orientation API, if you show it exactly the same thing. Okay, and the last thing is last but not least. So let's go to CNN.com. Let me show you something stupid, but of course, why not? Hello, Chrome DevTools. Where are you? Okay, straight up. So what you can do is you go to console. It's a useless trick, but why not? So you can go to document.design mode. Okay, document design mode change to on. Okay. Then now what you can do is we can edit this thing just like document. So it's kind of stupid, but of course, why not? But you can change anything. This is how you create fake news and share it on WhatsApp. And the next moment, the police will knock my door because I teach you how to create fake news. But you can use the design mode, document.design mode, and change the content of the document. And after that, turn it off. And you return to normal, take a screenshot, and share it to your designer. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, anyway, congrats Singapore. Okay, okay, let's focus on the last part of the talk. So performance is a big thing for those building a web application. Like if you build a React app, like you send a lot of JavaScript to the user, like maybe you send like 1 or 2 MB, it's a lot. But how can you improve it? So the first thing is Lighthouse. Like Lighthouse, the one you can find on the beach. No. So the layout is basically, maybe you know what happened, I don't know what happened, like the layout is off. I'm sure this is a bug. This is what will happen if you use it on Canary, but anyway. So Lighthouse will provide you a lot of information which is very slow. It gives you an audit of how horrible is your website. It gives you a score on basically all the categories. Faster, please, faster. Okay, so it let you know like right now the performance is 77. It's actually okay. But if you run it on your production website, then you know how bad is your website. Sorry to say that. I used to build a lot of super slow website and get like 3 out of 100, which is horrible. But I can use this to improve your website. Then also the accessibility score, the best practice, SEO, and can use it to check is it a progressive app. But that's not the best thing. If you scroll down a bit, it gives you a lot of metrics like the FCP, like the first contentful page. But we are like, what is first contentful page? And you click on this button and give you all the information in the detailed description. If you still can't understand this, you can click on the learn more, which is linked to the web.dev. It gives you a very detailed information. How can you basically fix this thing? Like how can you improve? It gives you a very detailed information. How can you improve the website? So if you want to improve your website, Lighthouse is the best thing. And it's not only available on the Chrome DevTools, it's also, you can download from the Chrome extension. For those using Firefox, yes, you can download from the Firefox add-ons. You can use it from the CLI, which you can like Lighthouse like google.com. You can do that. You wait for a few seconds, you generate the HTML file. It's from a CLI, and you can do it as in the node module, and you also can integrate things to your CI. So whenever you push your code to like GitLab or GitHub, and you generate a report every time you push or every time you merge or pull request. So you can use this to like basically improve or audit or generate a score of your website. Yeah, like in this case, it shows quite strongly. Okay, and also right now the latest version, I think it's Chrome 5.7.1. There's a new version of Lighthouse 6.0 is coming soon. Coming like in 2 or 3 weeks. This is what I heard from. It's coming soon. It's going to change how they generate the score a bit. So if you see a decrease of the score, but is that more accurate? Anything else? Okay, this thing. So for rendering stuff, so let me go to which website is a good website. Okay, let me go to androidpolice.com. So it's website. So you can see this website has dark theme, right? But the problem is sometimes you actually can simulate the. I should go to. Okay, this website is fine. I can go to rendering. So it's currently showing dark theme is because my computer is on dark theme. But the thing is, you actually can. Usually, if you're on Mac, you go to System Preference, then you go to General, then you change it between light theme or dark theme. Oh yes, by the way, Chrome DevTools actually have dark theme, so you can go to switch to dark theme and you switch to dark theme. Okay, but if I change to light theme, easier for you to see. But you can simulate instead of going to the system preference, both on macOS and Windows 10. Instead of going here, you can actually simulate that directly from the DevTools by clicking this button, the Emulate CSS media feature prefer color scheme. So if you change it, then you change to light theme. Okay, let me refresh again. So if you change it, it simulates exactly the same thing as here. But you don't need to change on the system side, you just change on the DevTools. Then for those, like they have the motion signal stuff, and you can use it to like the prefer reduce motion, which they reduce the animation. And the last thing is that the vision, I don't know how to pronounce this thing. Deficiency, I think so. Then you can use it to change that. For those wearing spec like me, then you know if you don't wear, everything looks like this. This is how I browse the website in the midnight without wearing spec. So everything is blurry. So you can use it to emulate it directly from the DevTools, and you can change it for those that they can't see the color correctly. And it should show you like a few types of color. Like some people can't see blue color well, some people cannot see like the blue color, red color, yellow color, those kind of stuff. You can simulate everything directly from the Chrome DevTools. And of course, you can simulate either the website is previewed on the screen or print. Print means that you print on A4 paper. So it's useful if you're building like an e-commerce site, you have the receipt page, or your ticketing system, you have the view ticket page. Some people print it, but when you print it, usually the layout is different. So you can use it to simulate directly. So you can see if you print this website, it looks like this. If you on the screen, it looks like this. They hide this thing, interesting. Okay, next thing is coverage. So performance is important, and a lot of stuff will ship a lot of stuff. As you learn from just now, like there's something called lazy loading, right? But the problem is how can you know like what kind of stuff I should lazy load? So what you can do is you have a website. So you use the DevTools, you search for show coverage. So you can use this thing to, let me run through this thing. So you can see like you have the CSS, the layout.css file, like the unused byte are 77%. So you only use like 30% of the code and the 70% just sit there and do nothing. So maybe what you can do is you can load load the first 30% of the CSS. Once everything is completed, then only load the rest of the 70%. This will improve your performance a lot. You can use the coverage to do this. Okay. I think my almost time's up, so let me show you one last thing, which is a fun thing. So talk about lighthouse, talk about performance, talk about styling, about JavaScript. Hopefully you find something new. For those using Firefox DevTools, you know there's one thing about something cool about Firefox DevTools, which is the CSS grid support. The CSS grid support on Chrome DevTools it doesn't exist. If you're building a website with CSS grid, you can't debug using Chrome DevTools. To do that, you must use you must use the Firefox DevTools. The good news is, well, CSS grid tooling is coming to Chrome DevTools very, very soon. So it's a collaboration between Chrome DevTools and the Microsoft Edge DevTools teams. Yes, Microsoft and Google is working together and to bring the CSS grid tooling to the Chrome DevTools. It's coming soon, so it's not in Canary yet. So for those use Firefox DevTools, it's because you want to debug CSS grid. Sorry, Firefox. You can do that on Chrome DevTools very, very soon. So that's all from me. And for those, yes, it's time for you to take screenshot. Those are the slides, those are the information you need to know. The slide today, in the detailed way, like together with the screenshot, you can find on the first link, the slide deck. If you want to learn more about Chrome DevTools, you can go to devtools.chrome.com or you can go to web.dev. Okay, just now I mentioned like the DevTools, how you can run DevTools locally, right? The code is on this link, the github.com/from DevTools front end. It's actually a mirror from the Google source.com, but it's still the same thing. If you want to contribute to the protocol, let me show you one more thing. Remember I talked about the CDP, the Chrome DevTools protocol. How actually the DevTools talk to the website? Like it's a dark magic, right? How can I click this thing, then the DevTools can know what is what. So it's used the Chrome DevTools protocol. How can we know the behind the scene? You can see that from the DevTools itself. So you can search for the show protocol monitor. So you can see all the detailed information. Like if I overlay this thing, then you can see this is what happened in behind the scene. The DevTools use the protocol to call like the node highlight request to call the website, and back forward it's a two-way protocol. So you can use it to see the information and the request and response. It's like all the behind the scene. It's kind of no point for you to use it. It's useful for those developing DevTools, but as a developer, it's fun to see the behind the scenes stuff. Right? Okay, that's almost all from me. So give you a few more moments to take a screenshot. Give you 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's all from me. Thank you. You can find me and follow me on Twitter, HenryLin96. And thanks for the Chrome team, as mentioned here. You can find them on Twitter. They are super awesome for give me support. And of course, thanks to GTG Singapore and Julius for inviting me to this event. And of course, thanks to you all. Thanks for joining. Thanks to watching the live stream. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much, Henry. So far, we have some raving reviews with the things that you presented. But as a reminder to everyone, if you have any questions for Henry, please do post it in the live chat. On the other hand, let's show some of the comments about your presentation. The first one came from Varun, who mentioned that CSS Overview is amazing.
Yes, it's super amazing, but you need to try it on Canary, but please do it. It's super, super useful.
Cool. And then we have mention from Zoe, who said that VisBug is interesting and just added it as a Chrome extension.
Yes, I will let them know that you just install it.
And wow, so Varun says that he has never used LogPoint before, and it's actually a savior.
Yeah, I just realized it like last week, which is super awesome, and I didn't know it. So I must share it to all.
Cool. Thank you so much for saving our lives, I guess.
Yeah,
um, yes, we have a lot of great stuff from our friends here. Jiawei has mentioned that thanks for the great talks. Thanks everyone for the talks. Samuel also mentioned the same thing. And wow, Waitipu also mentioned that yeah, thank you, Pankaj, Dima, Henry. Super awesome talks. Um, and yeah, I think if there's any further questions for Henry, I think Henry will still be available for the next few minutes to answer in the live chat. And of course, we want to end with something more. Um, so